Hi, everyone. I am Linda Wellbrock, and I'm the founder of Leading Women Entrepreneurs and the Force for Change Awards here in New Jersey. We have a very special, dynamic guest with us today. His name is Stephen Cohen. He's a partner at Morgan, Lewis and Bacchius and chairman of the board at Meditation for Leadership. Welcome, Stephen, and congratulations on being a 2021 Force for Change honoree.
Thank you, Linda. I'm honored to receive that award.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about the venture financing world, because we know that the market has been strong during the last couple of years. But I'm wondering if you can kind of shine some light and tell us a little bit about how COVID has impacted emerging companies at this point.
Sure. So the venture market likes change, right? So when things are change, when things are in the process of change, there's the opportunity for disruption. And emerging companies come in and they, by definition, sort of disrupt the way things were before. And that's where there are significant opportunities. And that's where investors start to sort of chase those opportunities. So if COVID was anything, it was a time for change. And one of the things that we found during the past couple of years was the trends that were happening very slowly accelerated exponentially during these periods of time. So right before COVID, in January of 2020, I went to a conference at Google. And it was really interesting. They showed a slide that showed, it was a baseball analogy, and it showed in what inning each area, each substantive area was in terms of technological change and the adoption of technological change. And it showed healthcare in the second inning and education in the first inning and a whole bunch of other industries that had gone much farther along. Well, COVID completely turned that on its head. So within moments, healthcare was transformed. We went from prohibitions on digital and telemedicine to encouraging telemedicine. We went from no insurance reimbursement to temporary insurance reimbursement, and my expectation will be that that becomes sort of permanent reimbursement. And that changed the way in which your health is not just diagnosed, but monitored and treated. And where there's that kind of transformational change, venture capital will follow. We also found the same thing with education. There was tremendous resistance in education to change. There were some wealthy areas that did remote learning or gave people iPads or things like that. But really, before COVID, all of the learning was in the classroom. And I think what we found was that while classroom learning was obviously essential, and you can't replace being together and the things that you learn by being together, there are ways of effectively communicating information and effectively teaching that would supplement traditional in-person education. And we're seeing just a tremendous amount of acceleration of adoption of those types of technologies and a lot of venture capital that's pursuing it.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see some of the silver linings that have come out of this pandemic and how, especially the virtual education and the hybrid model, how that might accelerate and make education more efficient in many different scenarios. So thank you for sharing both of those examples with us, because it is exciting to hear. So I've been in the world of the advancement of women leaders for a long time, and historically, we see that women, Black, Indigenous, and people of color who are all entrepreneurs have been underrepresented in the venture world and getting access to capital. Do you see that this trend is changing?
Definitely. And I wouldn't just say underrepresented, I would really say grossly underrepresented. If you look at the statistics of funding, venture funding for female-led entrepreneurs, while it's improved throughout the decade, it really improved from a very low level. And similarly, you see that for minority what we call BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, entrepreneurs, and that there's generally more awareness of that now, and there are a lot of efforts to change that. I've been working to help support an organization that Pharrell Williams has started called Black Ambition, and they're awarding prizes in the $50,000 to $1 million range for seed stage companies owned by Black or Latinx entrepreneurs. They're just awarding their first grant cycle this summer, and they structured it in a really, I think, innovative way, which is that the funding comes in the form of a SAFE, which is a simple investment structure that doesn't set a valuation and instead provides a security by which others could co-invest with them, so that the entrepreneur can begin to adopt a sort of investor pool or a group of investors with the sort of stamp of approval of having won a Black Ambition Prize. And I think it's really going to be an important Kickstarter for these organizations. Similarly, they've set up an ecosystem, an educational ecosystem, where the entrepreneurs will receive expert guidance as well as the opportunity to network with each other, to learn from each other, which has really been important for the successful ecosystems. And you see large institutions like Goldman Sachs has this 1 Million Black Women program, which is a combination, again, of entrepreneurial investment support and education and ecosystem support. Morgan Stanley has their multicultural lab that I think is now in its fourth or fifth cycle. And there are 6-month cycles where a dozen entrepreneurs, I think they're all Black entrepreneurs, but they might be BIPOC entrepreneurs, are able to get together. They have the resources that Morgan Stanley can provide. They're provided with, I believe it's a $250,000 investment that converts into whatever their initial funding round is. And so with that education, that support, that initial funding that they can use to grow until they're ready for traditional institutional capital, venture capital, they're able to really get started in a way that these opportunities were not available for these people before. And it's really exciting. So I think these organizations are really instituting significant change. There's also been women-focused organizations that are similar. Golden Seeds is a well-known female entrepreneur organization that has backed many successful companies. And once you really get through that seed stage, once you get to that level where you're sort of Series A, where you have revenue traction, where you have proof of concept, I think everyone can get funded. But the hard part is getting to that stage. And traditionally, it's been particularly hard on the East Coast. I think there were more people on the West Coast that sort of were willing to invest at that pre-seed and seed stage. But we're seeing now more of that across the country. We're seeing it from institutions. We're seeing it from angel investors. And it really is exciting because I think that's really what's going to make the difference.
Steve, I have to say, I mean, it's just inspirational to hear you speak about all of these, very large companies that are stepping up to the plate and becoming conscious leaders. I love the word that you used in terms of an ecosystem. It's not just about getting the money, but having the support and the network to continue to, lift up personally and professionally. I think after this interview, we're going to have to get a list of those companies and the contact people so we can showcase that too. But thank you for sharing that trend. And I wish that people out there who are looking for investment, they can connect with those resources for sure. So as a force for change, which you are without question, we know that it it's important to focus on education and training and skill building. And as leaders and as mentors, we have to be really creative in the ways that we continue to develop as leaders and continue to develop our teams. What are some of the ways that you are implementing leadership development at your company, both of your companies, quite frankly?
So, from a Morgan Lewis point of view, I think we've really been at the forefront of trying to look at the whole person, as a lawyer. We've always traditionally done a lot of substantive training, but we've really, I think, picked up the training on the holistic person. I know one of the trendy things is people talk about sort of work-life balance. And our chair, Jamie McKeon, likes to say she doesn't like work-life balance. It's all just life. And when you start with the perspective that it's all just life, then it helps you, prioritize what you're doing in a little bit different manner. And really, where it started for me was in developing a daily meditation and mindfulness practice. So to make a sort of long story short, I was really sort of suffering in this work-life balance area. I was one of those people who, while I was on vacation, I was doing work, and while I was work, I was dreaming about my next vacation. And it was really having a physical impact on me in addition to the sort of mental stress. And so I was able to start a daily meditation that grew into a sort of living my life in a mindful way. And it's really made a tremendous difference in increasing my awareness, increasing my ability to connect with other people, keeping things in perspective, and really helping me become sort of the best that I can be and reach my potential. And I really find that others that I've been working with on this have felt similar results. And with my Meditation for Leadership hat, about 10 of us got together to form an organization to sort of spread the word of the benefits of meditation and mindfulness practice. And we've been teaching in large organizations like Verizon and Subaru and Bancroft, and teaching in smaller organizations where someone in the organization, the CEO or someone in HR, has really felt these benefits and they also wanted to spread them. And it just makes such a big difference because, what I found is that what was holding me back from being the best that I can be was the suffering that I was putting on myself. So it was really the self tension, not the external tension, that was keeping me from really enjoying the moment and enjoying what I was doing to the fullest, whether that was personally or professionally. And once I was able to sort of release that suffering, then that gave me a lot more time, instead of having to focus on my own mind, being able to focus on what I can do to help others and what I can do to enjoy with others. Really has been transformative for me, and I know for many others that have gone through a similar experience.
Steve, it's just remarkable to hear a corporate leader like yourself talk about, the importance of balance and staying grounded and, really being in touch with, all that we are as human beings. And nobody can deny that, whether you're in corporate America or you're starting a small company or you're a stay-at-home mom. I think we're all really searching for that foundation and that balance. And I know that future leaders are certainly more open to all of those, holistic and wellness possibilities. So how do you currently find balance between, work and family and all of the other roles that you play in your life?
To be honest, it starts with 10 minutes a day in the morning. So the first 10 minutes of my morning, before I pick up the phone, I sit quietly. I've been really enjoying just going outside these summer mornings and sitting quietly. And what I find is if I can quiet that sort of day-to-day chatter that keeps going at me through the day, that all of my best ideas come to me during that sort of 10 minutes in the morning. I might have spent all day on something that I couldn't resolve, but in that 10 minutes in the morning where I'm trying to just focus on my breath and think of nothing, that answer will just come to me. And, it'll just come to me, who I haven't spoken with in a while that I need to speak with. I haven't called my mom in a week. But whatever it happens to be, seems to just come into my consciousness during that 10, 15 minutes of quiet in the morning. And it's really just made a tremendous difference. And what I'm finding in the marketplace is that, really companies that are thriving like LinkedIn and Apple and SAP and many others have been trying to spread the word within their workforces, and adapt more people having these practices. And it really changes the organization. It really helps you be a force for change when you start your day with that kind of perspective.
Well, I am currently about halfway through your book, Leading from Within, and I am practicing all of your recommended meditations. And I have to say, it's been just an incredible exercise for me. And I highly encourage, we think we don't have 10 minutes, but we do. And we can wake up a little bit earlier. 10 minutes is not that much to ask. And you obviously have, successfully managed to do so much and have such a huge impact in your role in both of your companies that I'm going to take your advice, and I suggest other people do too. And we can't wait to celebrate you as a true force for change here in New Jersey, in the nation, and even globally on November 8th as a 2021 honoree. Steve, it is my honor and such a pleasure, and thank you for sharing all of this great advice with us today.
Thank you, Linda. It's my pleasure. And also, really, we were talking about supporting women and BIPOC entrepreneurs, and I know you've been doing that for years, so it's not a new trend for you. And so I really appreciate that, and really commend the work that you've done and the work that you continue to do in this area.
Thank you. Great. We'll see you on the 8th.
Terrific. Looking forward to it.